Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach here, and welcome to a Mortgage Coach educational event in partnership with AREAA. Again, my name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. I'm going to try to bring a conversation to you around the best practices of the best loan officers in America. At Mortgage Coach, we have 34% of the top 1% mortgage professionals using Mortgage Coach. And so it's going to be focused around realtor referrals. This call is all about how to get more referrals from the agents that you have, how to build new relationships with agents that aren't referring you business, and also how to convert those with Mortgage Coach. Again, it's in partnership with AREAA. Our president, Joe Couture, was a speaker and a host at this year's AREAA event. We're very excited about this partnership and looking forward to other events that you have coming up. Hopefully, everybody on this call, you've already saved the date for the annual conference this year, October 18th through 20th in Las Vegas. And then the next big event, if you don't have this on your calendar already, is April 7th and 9th right here in Seattle. I'm in Portland, Oregon, but a couple hours north in Seattle. Make sure you save the date if you have not already done that. So this call, again, it's all about how to get business from realtors. So it's important to know who your real estate agents are. Average realtor is 52 years old, 13 years experience. Been with their company for 14 years. 61% speak at least one language other than English. Interesting to note. 45% independent franchise, but then again, no surprise, Keller Williams is number one franchise. 14% are with Coldwell Banker. 13 or 11% with REMAX, 10% with Century 21, and Sotheby's with 9%. As mortgage professionals, average mortgage professional is 45 years old. Again, I have seen different numbers on that. I thought it was a little older than that personally, but that is what this stat, in fact, tells us. One question I would like to get out there, just so I know the audience that I'm speaking to today, is I want to know how many families you serve annually as a mortgage professional. The poll is going to read less than 50 families, so less than 50 loans, let us know, 50 to 100 families annually, 100 to 200, and 200 plus. Please vote. I like to conduct educational experiences where they're as interactive as possible. I will be asking you if you have questions to post those questions in the GoToWebinar control panel, and I'll have a few more poll questions. So, one more, by the way, we've got 65% of you have voted. I always like to get that north of 70%. And then I feel like I really have a great sampling of who's on today's call. So one last push. All right, thank you very much. So 61% are less than 50, 30% are 50 to 100, and 10% of you, which no surprise, that's top 10%. Actually, it's a little, I'd say, the top 1% mortgage professional is 100 transactions per year, and 9% of the people on this call are doing over 100 transactions. So it is a pretty elite group of mortgage professionals. So again, this is all about, this is in partnership with AREAA. So I think it's important to note when you look at the trends, 1.8 more Asian households will be formed by 2024, 33% more new minority home buyers. Huge. And again, interesting stat, 88% of all rental demand they expect to come from minorities. So one of the topics we're going to cover today is the Mortgage Coach rent versus own analysis, a great way to help a family really net out the difference between renting versus owning. So as I said, this call is a Mortgage Coach call. We want to help you understand what Mortgage Coach does, but we also want to help you understand that within the context of a realtor experience. Reminder, please ask questions in the GoToWebinar control panel. So the result, while we at Mortgage Coach deliver a lot of results, whether that's improved conversion, more past client loans, saving you time, open house leads, we're just going to focus on the realtor referral. I think it's important to note when you think of how to maximize realtor referrals, you got to really be very good at addressing rate shopping. When a family is just rate shopping you, the best realtors want to work with a mortgage professional that gets them the best conversion rate. So if you're a mortgage professional that doesn't eloquently and uniquely handle that, you're not going to maximize realtor referrals. Realtors want to work with a loan officer that has the highest conversion rates, that creates the highest amount of urgency. So I interview the nation's best realtors. I interview the top speakers in the industry, and the ideas I'm going to share with you, whether it's from Tom Ferry, Ken DeLeon, #1 realtor in America, most of these ideas came from either a mortgage coach loan officer or a top real estate agent. One of the things I want to make sure we create some awareness around, and we'll put a link to that in this GoToWebinar, is that we have a YouTube channel. So all the videos, all the interviews that I do, and a lot of the information that I'm going to cover in today's call is available for free in our YouTube channel. So check that out, and there will be a link in the Q&A. So let's get to where you can maximize your realtor referrals. And it really starts with differentiate how you deliver a pre-qual. The typical loan officer delivers that pre-approval with a fee worksheet. That's a great way to quote price and a transaction. It's not the best way to deliver advice and value. So part of the approach and the strategy of the best loan officers in the country are to deliver that pre-qual in a way that's unique, in a way that's valuable, with graphs and charts on mobile devices. This is a mortgage coach experience. It is a higher standard in the way that you deliver advice. This is actually a picture of a first-time home buyer in a Pete's coffee shop, understanding, should I buy now? Should I wait 6 months? Should I wait 3 months? And consuming that on a mobile app. So if you want to maximize realtor referrals, deliver an experience the way the family wants it. This is a mortgage coach professional, actually in Seattle, meeting with the family in their office. 33% of loan officers still do a lot of office meetings. So having an in-office experience that's educational, whether it's in your office, whether it's in a coffee shop, delivering that mobile experience really makes a difference in your ability to deliver a modern mortgage experience. But by the way, could you, I also am joined today with Tina. Tina, could you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, Dave, you're good.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit of spinning here and there. So the other thing that's important when maximizing realtor referrals is to be able to tell stories and explain strategies, whether it's to a buyer in a coffee shop or whether you're meeting with a realtor. This is actually a realtor in an Albuquerque coffee shop looking at a cost of waiting analysis. It's like a lot of move-up buyers. Should I move up now? Should I wait? If you can effectively tell stories and explain strategies with mobile devices to realtors, you're going to be more effective in helping that agent make an informed decision for their families and want to refer you the business. The other key idea is to be able to add an open house. Let's face it, a lot of folks are finding open houses on mobile devices, or when they're out looking at open houses, they're looking at the prices at the other homes around them. So being able to take that mortgage experience and put it on a mobile device, an iPad, a computer, a TV set at an open house is a great way to get more leads at open houses. So from a very high level, every picture you saw here was a picture of a mortgage coach delivering value, whether it's in person in an office, whether it's purely over the phone and online, or whether it's at an open house, to be able to visually deliver rates and fees in a way that matters for the family. So if they're renting, thinking about owning, help them understand that over time. If they're moving up, help them understand that. If they're just looking at different purchase options and they're looking at, FHA versus conventional, or they're looking at different MI options, to be able to visualize that is absolutely essential to serving families when they're getting into debt. So what I'd like to do now is I have one of our trainers and success coach on the call with me today, Tina. Tina, if you wouldn't mind walking people through the actual mobile experience. And by the way, while Tina is walking you through an actual mobile app experience, a mortgage coach, I am going to look for any questions that come up. So if you do have questions, feel free to ask those, and we will make sure we get them answered throughout the call today.
Great. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to go ahead and bring my screen up. So this is actually an iPhone that you're seeing on the screen, and this is what your clients, they can view it on the desktop or they can view it on their iPhone. And when they do view it on the iPhone, it is great not only for the loan officer, but for the realtor, because you know that your client is being educated. And not only that, you have the capability to join your loan officer and your client at the same time to be able to go through the presentation. It does show an electronic link here. This is an electronic business card for the loan officer. So you can go in there and look exactly, they can contact you from here. They can share the presentation from here. You can see the share link in the upper right corner above my name. It will be branded with the company. When they go into the summary, it is a breakdown initially, so that you can go through with the loan officer, the realtor, and the client all together in a group, and you can talk about the loan situation. For example, this situation, they have and I gotta make it bigger so I can see, they have right here the amount that they're paying, but it also shows that unrecoverable cost in here, that net monthly payment, which becomes very important for those clients who maybe are saying, I can't afford to buy because it's going to cost me too much. We know that there is principal being paid that's going to be going towards equity, as well as money that you will get back annually for your tax benefit. So you'll have that information on here. You cannot share the electronic business card by yourself. It is as just part of the program. Now, the payment breakdown tells you the payment, any part of that monthly payment, to include property tax, hazard insurance, if there's an MI factor. Whoops. All that information is right in there. And then when you go on in the closing details, now you can really break down the fees. And we know that most of the time clients are really concerned about, what is it going to cost me? How much money am I going to get back? What information is there that they need to see? So they can go in and talk about that actual down payment amount. They can talk about the APR versus non-APR cost. If there's points or a lender credit, they can go in if there's upfront fees or prepaids, as well as if there's a contribution and earnest money. So you have the real cash to close that is in here. If your clients want to know even more detail, they can go into those fee details and really see that breakdown in here. They can even see, is it APR fees, prepaid escrow fees, or is it financed into the loan? When they scroll all the way to the bottom, it breaks it down. If there was lender paid fees or if there was seller paid fees, it would show total borrower paid, total lender paid, and total seller. But it shows not only the numbers, but graphs for each section. The reason why is because by seeing the numbers and the graphs, your clients are going to remember 18% more information 6 days after the transaction or after they've viewed this information. So you'll be able to really educate your clients and make them have a lot more comfortable process when they are coming back away from the transaction after they've closed the loan. And then we have the net monthly payments that show the breakdown. We always show it compared to rent. Net monthly payments, this is that unrecoverable cost. So the unrecoverable cost is shown in here. More information breaks it down. Unrecoverable cost is taking that payment and taking away anything that they will get back into their pocket. They also can see tax benefit analysis. How's this going to impact you with your tax benefit? You do see there is a tax benefit of renting. What exactly is that? That is your tax bracket and your standard deduction. So whether you're renting or owning, you have that standard deduction. But the big benefit comes in when you have that interest to write on your home. And finally, that net worth is what we're showing. You have that ability to break it down and show your clients either the net worth. If you're showing MI options, we'll show MI and interest. You can even choose to show that principal paid. So you can really break it down for them so they can see and understand what exactly is going to impact them as a family. Anything else on there you want me to cover, Dave?
No, you're doing a great job. By the way, really appreciate the questions that are coming in. I can see that some folks from the questions that are coming in use Mortgage Coach, some don't. I do want to launch the quick poll and just get a feel for how often you're using Mortgage Coach. Obviously, if you're not on the Mortgage Coach team, it'd be never. If you're using Mortgage Coach every day. You're getting leads and loans every day. You're using it daily. Answer daily. If it's weekly, if it's monthly, let us know how often you're using it. So yeah, as my instincts told me, over 50% of the folks on today's call are on the Mortgage Coach team. So great to see a lot of members showing up for today's call to just get better. By the way, I just noticed only about 60% of you have voted so far. So let's try to keep that up to 70%. If I know that 70% of the people on today's call have voted, it really helps me when I do these surveys. I've only got one more poll before this call is out. So please push that. All right. So yeah, definitely. We've definitely got over 50% of the audience using Mortgage Coach. So great job, everybody. And for those of you that are not on our team, we will show you how to get signed up and start using Mortgage Coach before this call is out. So Tina, if you could just confirm that you can see my screen again.
Yes, your screen is up.
Great. So let's start talking about specific ideas and specific strategies to get more realtor referrals. I think you have to start with the big idea. What are you trying to accomplish with your agents? You know, if you have level 1 relationships, that means your agents are built on the fact that they trust you to keep your word and close on time. That's a level 1 relationship. And by the way, you have to have a level 1 relationship to close a single loan and get a single referral. But level 2 is where you really start differentiating from other loan officers. You start getting more referrals, is when they believe that you are an extension of their sales process and they will have a better conversion rate and they will sell more homes with you. That's level 2. In level 3, where you are maximizing your realtor referrals, is when they passionately believe and they understand it with clarity that you create urgency and clarity with their buyers. So level 3 is where the opportunity is at. And I find in interviewing loan officers, most loan officers don't have level 3 relationships. Now, in the Mortgage Coach community, our most successful loan officers, they have level 3 relationships, and they have specific scripts that help them accomplish that. So I'm just going to create awareness around some scripts, and I'm going to go in details on others. This is from a recent article. I think it's the most recent article I posted on LinkedIn, and I call it Total Cost Selling. I'm not going to get into this in detail because it's a borrower script. It's like if a borrower called you and was rate shopping you, it would give you a long form script on how to address that. So check out that article if you'd like to see how a mortgage coach converts a rate shopper. But what I want to focus on in this conversation is how the best loan officers go from price to advice and they maximize realtor referrals. So I did an interview with Josh Metal, one of America's top loan officers, and I'm shining a light on this LinkedIn article that I wrote because it's got actual scripts. It's got the actual scripts that he used with the buyer, with the agent, so that they see him as more than a loan officer. They see him as someone that's going to help create urgency and clarity with buyers. So I would ask everybody, just do it for yourself on a piece of paper on a scale of 1 to 10. Well, first of all, do 2 things. First of all, how many active realtor partners do you have? Write that down. If it's 5, write down 5. If it's 10, write down 10. If it's 20, how many do you have? And then where do they see you as someone that's helping improve conversion and someone that's creating urgency? And if you don't have all of your partners where they see you as someone that creates urgency and clarity, big opportunity. I am just going to fly by some of these scripts, but this is recorded. You can re-listen to the recording. You can stop right here, and you can, write this down and make it yours. Also, all of these scripts are in our LinkedIn articles, and the videos are all there for you to listen to. But I'm going to point to the language on this one where Josh, when he's having that borrower conversation, he's talking about how I'm going to help him select the best program, and I'm going to make it ridiculously simple for you. So that term, make it ridiculously simple, it works for Josh. It may not be your language, but the concept is that you've got a way to deliver advice that makes things super simple, ridiculously simple. Great scripting from a borrower's perspective. And again, This is just from another call that I did from Josh, wrote it down, and he's always using that language, ridiculously simple. So we've got lots of borrower scripts. And again, we're all in a link down below, like if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, a link down below will be a link to some of these slides and some other scripts. So just look below if you want to see that. And now you need to have scripting to help you get more referrals from your realtors. So again, in this particular script, and I'm not going to read it out loud, it's on my screen. Again, you don't need to take notes because you're going to get a link to the recording of this, and we're going to have a link below for you to download this. But I just want to shine a light on the fact that you're differentiating, saying, I'm not an app taker. I'm helping our clients save money by picking the right mortgage, or in this particular script, save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan and build wealth with real estate faster. Really powerful language. And then talking about how I'm an extension of your sales process, and I'm going to help create urgencies to improve your conversion rate and to also help people make sure they're making the right offer on the home. So that whole urgency, this is cornerstone to maximizing your realtor referrals. Also, I want to shine a light on an interview that I did last year with the Gaylord Hanson team, a top team in San Diego. You can listen to that recording. They've got a lot of great scripts. They've got a lot of great strategies. In fact, they have 5 specific strategies. One is the initial borrower consultation. And again, they walk every single one of their realtors through their borrower consultation so the realtor understands how they create conversion, how they help buyers leap off the fence and get into escrow, whether it's a move-up buyer, whether it's a first-time home buyer. And then they also have packaged other services like the way that they do down payment options. They turn down payment options into a strategy. They've got the counter offer analysis. They've got all kinds of different scripts, all kinds of different strategies. And I would just ask you right now, aside from just saying, hey, I close loans on time, I keep my promises, you can trust me, you like me, I have great products and programs, how are you being of value to your agent? Again, the opportunity here is to upgrade your borrower consultation so that it creates that urgency and clarity, and then create some product offerings like a down payment analysis, a counter offer analysis, a rent versus own analysis. They're in the San Diego market, so they do a lot of VA, rent versus own analysis. What is a strategy in your local market that you can use to create urgency? So again, I wanted to create awareness of these scripts. The link will be down below. But hopefully the takeaway for everybody is that there is a faster way for you to get more loans, get more referrals if you are using Mortgage Coach. I'm going to really quickly show you how, if you had a corporate relationship with us and you had Mortgage Coach integrated into Optimal Blue, this is how quick and how simple it can be to price out a loan and create a Mortgage Coach report. And then I'm going to hand it back to Tina, and she's going to show you how you could create and edit a total cost analysis from your mobile phone. So again, if you're with a corporate client and you're able to price out loans through the pricing engine, click a couple different options, then click the Mortgage Coach button. And again, Mortgage Coach can be integrated into any LOS, CRM, pricing engine. We're already in 40 plus different integrations. You grab the link, loan officer emails that, text that, Facebook's that, then the family clicks on the link, and whether the family clicks on it from an Android device, they click on it from an iOS device, they click on it from their desktop, they get their mortgage options. This is the best way to deliver rates and fees. And then the loan officer can have a live experience. Whatever the loan officer clicks on from either their mobile device or their desktop, it changes for the family. So again, this is how the best loan officers are creating urgency, creating clarity, creating conversion for realtors, is they're driving this type of Mortgage Coach-like experience, and then they're getting the maximum possible referrals. So that's what it looks like from one of our integrations. Tina, why don't you show them the mobile app, and then I'll keep an eye out for questions. So again, anybody, if you do have questions, let me know what those are at. I will field questions at this next break, and then we'll get into a few more strategies. I'm going to walk you through what are the best questions to ask realtors when you meet with them, and then I'm going to close out today's call with a couple big ideas on how to get more referrals from your past clients. Tina, I see your screen.
Thanks, Dave. So when you go in, you can always build from scratch. There is a new button up here where you can start from scratch to build. But here at Mortgage Coach, we like to teach you the quick and simplest way in order for you to do something. We like to make sure that we are aware of time management. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in what we call a master template. I'm going to go into this first-time home buyer down here at the bottom, and then I'm going to just copy this analysis, and I'm going to copy it to a new client. At this point, I can go in and I can now put in my new client's information. I'm going to say his name is Dave. So we're just going to add Dave's name. I could add in any information here that I want to add, but if I'm in a hurry and I want to do a quick presentation, I already know that it's set up as a first-time home buyer. So I'm just going to come over to my product area. Whoops. Click on my product area, and here I have a conventional fixed 30-year. Going into there, I can quickly update the dollar amounts. Maybe they only have a home that they're looking for the $250,000 range. So I can quickly adjust it. I can then adjust the percentage on how much they were going to put down. Right now it's showing 28%. Maybe I'm just going to do a basic 20% down product. Now all my information will be in here. When I scroll to the bottom and click next, I can go through each screen if I want, but more likely closing costs are going to be the same and other information will be the same. If it's in my normal county, my percentage that I use for my hazard insurance and property tax will be the same. Then I'll be able to go to the next product by clicking on product and going into that next product. Now I can change this product to whatever I want to show it. Maybe I want to show the same product, but it's a cost of waiting. Maybe I'm going to do if they wait for 6 months, and I can do then 6 months down the line. Let's do this one, June of 2018. And what I would do is I would make sure that I looked up the information for that 2018 home, what they expect. Freddie Mac is typically the one who nails the interest rate expectations. But I'm going to put in the same information I had for my last loan. But this time, maybe that base loan is going to go up, that expectation. Look at how much homes are rising and use that average rise. Let's say that this home goes up $20,000. Now I'm really able to show my clients, is it going to be worth waiting and saving up that money? Or should they look at other options with maybe a lower down payment? After I go in there, I can change the analysis screen or any other screen that I need to adjust for my client. Maybe I want to show that net worth to them because I really want to show what it is that they're going to get out of this investment, and continuing going through and updating the information. It's simply a plug and play software. So once I get done, I'll be able to go over, scroll down a couple of times to the next, and now I can add a video to that report. Dave, you want me to add a video now, or you want to wait until afterwards?
No, go for it.
Okay, so now one of the great tools again about this is that it is a marketing tool. So when I click on video, I'm going to replace that because that one did have a video on there. And that is me. Hi, hope we're doing well. So now I do want to record that video for the client. So I would just click on there and start topping. There's a timer up here to let you know exactly how long you are recording. Now, the reason why you want to watch that timer is anytime you get over 2 minutes, you're losing your audience, so you're wasting your breath. Try to keep it around 1.5 minutes. In this case, I'd simply say, hey, Dave, I am so excited. I quickly did this presentation for you. It's showing those 2 products we talked about. What if you buy now, and then what's going to happen if you wait? Interest rates might go up as well as the home price. Are you still going to be able to afford that house you have? Now, I want you to go into the more information in the upper window of each of these sections. And after you dive into that, give me a call so we can go over it together. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me as well as your realtor, Tom. The last house me and Tom closed together, it only took us 27 days because we're all on the same page. I appreciate your time, Dave, and I look forward to working with you. Clicking off and then using that video, it will upload that video on there, and then I can send it right from my phone. So this is great, especially if you're meeting someone in a coffee house or out. You can do it right from wherever you are. So you want it back, Dave?
I will take it back. Let me get the screen here real quick. Confirm that when you can see my screen.
Your screen's up.
I think video is important to note that when you deliver mortgage options, you could deliver them in a way that's visual and in a way that's in the native language of the family that's getting into mortgage debt. So adding that video narration is incredibly powerful, so that you might be delivering it to one family member that speaks one language and other family members might speak another. When you deliver the rates and fees, you can deliver in a way that's tailored for that family. So what I want to do now is I want to talk about the realtor interview. When you're meeting with realtors, how can you conduct yourself in a way that maximizes referrals? And I think this interview with Jeremy Forcier, loan officer that closes over 140 million in production, one of America's top loan officers, and an incredible mortgage coach. He's delivered over 2,000 total cost analysis. So someone that really is a leader in our community. What are the questions that he asks clients? Again, before I show you those questions, I just want to remind everybody, level 3 is the goal. Level 3 is where we want to get with our agents, where they passionately believe that we create clarity and urgency. So first of all, there's the 5 questions that he's asking. And some of these questions might be new for some of you. And for some of you, these are all questions that you already have. Where are you having the most success right now in your business? I mean, that's just an easy question to ask to get the agent talking about where they're trending. Where are you having pain and challenges? I mean, great question. Lots of loan officers ask that. Do you have a goal for how many families you help? And how many did you close over the past 12 months? So really understanding where they're at. What are the non-negotiables in your business and personal life? Which, by the way, when you ask that question, it usually comes into communication. I want to work with a loan officer that communicates proactively, and that the realtor talks about communication. So by the way, these are the 5 questions Jeremy showcases in the video that he covered. I do recommend you watch that. But where the most important is that when the realtor answers these questions, how do you then transition that into a conversation that allows you to demonstrate how you're unique, how you're valuable, and how you're creating urgency? This is how Jeremy does it. Inevitably, every agent he's ever met with, communication is a centerpiece of what's important to them. So his scripting is pretty straightforward. It looks like out of your 3 non-negotiables, all of them were based around communication. I absolutely love that. I'm huge on communication. I will openly communicate with you, but my team as well. I will CC you, getting Jeremy's case. He's delivering these amazing total cost analysis videos. But if you're not a Mortgage Coach user, talk about how you're CCing them and keeping them in the loop on the education that you're delivering to the family. In Jeremy's case, it's called Mortgage Coach. In fact, I'll send you an example right now. Let me just text one to you. Jeremy will actually pull out his mobile phone and he'll text it to an agent right there on the spot, so the agent can understand how he communicates and how he delivers values. It's also not at all uncommon where he'll use his mobile app as a prop to tell a story or explain a strategy. So super simple questions, but incredibly powerful questions if you ask them right and you listen well. And then a great transition into showing an agent how you deliver value, how you deliver clarity. So incredibly powerful strategy. By the way, I just want to show on my screen real quick. I put a link to it below, but we have a private Facebook group, and there's a link to it in chat, so I welcome you to sign up for it. Every Friday, we do a mastermind within our community. And last week, we pushed up questions. What are the best questions you ask clients during the borrower consultation? We had great engagement around it. We also asked them, what's a great script for transitioning into Mortgage Coach? So be sure, if you're on this call, to subscribe to our private Facebook channel. So the next strategy, well, first of all, I want to make sure everybody knows within Mortgage Coach, there's a lot of reasons to become a Mortgage Coach, the graphs and charts, the fact that our reports are shareable, the fact that you can highlight them in real time, you can add a video, and all of this can be tracked and updated live. And of course, we do have tremendous scripts. Here's another call that I'm going to recommend you check out. It's called 10 Real World Scripts for Mortgage Advisors. You can also get this by following me on LinkedIn and going to one of the recent articles that I did. This was a call with Tim Brahim, Jeremy Forcier, and Danny Arani. We talked about 10 different scripts. They were all transcribed. So one, you can listen to the video, and two, they're transcribed and they're at the bottom. So, how Danny gets the hopes and dreams of the client, how Jeremy, explains the total cost analysis. All these scripts are available in our LinkedIn article. So check those out. And again, if you do have questions, I can see that we've got about 4 or 5 questions stacking up. I'm going to answer those in just 1 minute. Let's do this. Tina, before I get into this John Downs strategy, why don't you show a couple open house experiences and also show the rent versus own, and then I will get ready to answer all the questions that have come in. And again, folks, if you do have more questions, please post them right now because we are going to cover Q&A before we get into this next strategy.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. Okay, I'm actually showing on the browser instead of the phone because you do have the choice of browser or phone. We want to make sure that you know absolutely you are completely mobile with Mortgage Coach, but this is one of the open house flyers. And if you click on that open house flyer down in that chat bar, you will see this same flyer. This is just another one of the great things that you do is we have what's called Mortgage Coach Live as well. So clicking through this, I'm able to more easily explain to my client by driving them exactly where I want them to go. It's simply a click of my button. But in the open house flyer, you have the photos that you can choose, but it is also branded with both the loan officer and the realtor together. If they open it on a phone, then they have an electronic business card for both the realtor and the loan officer. So once you go in here, you can see those fee details, as well as if you are working with an FHA loan or a ARM loan, you see the payment streams because the payment streams do change. So you can see exactly where those payments go. So that is our great open house flyer. And then we're going to go in the rent versus own. I have the same thing up here. Rent versus own. We have that initial rent shown. So here's our rent line. And you can choose up to 4 products to compare it to. So you can go in and add as many products up to 4, but you can show the total payment versus that net monthly payment. The more information breaks it all down for your client so the client feels really educated after they've gone through the experience. And go in, even a reinvestment strategy if you're working with a situation that would require you showing them maybe that MI drop-off on that 5% conventional, reinvesting that money and how you can turn that money around from having it invested. The net worth is shown on this one, as well as that tax benefit in the lower bottom corner. You have choices when you build your presentation. I'm going to go into our online just to quickly kind of go through the presentation with you. But we have the input. It's a simple input process. As you go through each screen, that little arrow is your save. You can even choose, maybe you're going to use the equity on one property to buy into another property. So many different strategies you can show your client. You can see this one was initially a rent versus own. I put all of that information in. But once I go over here, I can now start adjusting it to fit the needs of my clients. And maybe I even don't want to show that rent versus own, but I want to change it over and just show a total cost analysis. I don't need to go back and put all that information in and rebuild it. We have it here so you can just advance forward. And then once you do, Always adding that quote date. It does protect everyone in the company. And I'm just going to drop one in there, generating that link. And then this is that same presentation, but now it's a total cost analysis, not comparing the rent. So you have lots of options. I honestly say, as a loan officer, or even as a realtor, it's only limited to your personal capabilities. You really have the ability to build in strategies. The move-up buyer, cost of waiting. There's so many different strategies you can put in here. You can work with construction loans. ARM loans are great. So lots of different things that you can compare when you're coming into Mortgage Coach. Any other thing you want me to cover here, Dave?
We'll stay on the screen. I want to make sure we get some of these questions answered that folks have. So Phil wanted to know, when I mentioned cost of waiting analysis, is that different than rent versus own? And yeah, Phil, rent versus own is a specific TCA printout that you're looking at now. And cost of waiting analysis would be a standard total cost analysis, and you would just update the fields. Tina will pull that up and we'll cover it at closing. Diana wants to know the cost of Mortgage Coach. I'll cover that in closing thoughts. That's okay. Kathleen just said several of the speakers talk about sending the link to download and connect. So again, if the buyer clicks on the link from a mobile device, it will drive them to download the app. Catherine, I think that's what you're talking about. Realtors. She also wants to know I'll cover more questions before we close out the call, Catherine. And again, if you guys have more questions, let me know what those would be, and we will get to those. If you can confirm when you can see my screen.
It's up.
All right. And again, I do want to remind everybody, these are the 5 questions that Jeremy asked every single client. So in terms of just 5 amazing questions that if you asked every realtor in your first meeting, these 5 questions, you would radically improve your conversion. And then when they talked about communication, you talked about, hey, this is how I deliver value, conversion, and urgency. So listen to this call for more details on that. Also, I want to shine a light on a recent success story. I recently interviewed John Downs out of the DC market, so East Coast. He's actually in Annapolis. He's only been using Mortgage Coach for less than 60 days. And when I did this interview a couple of weeks ago, I think he was about 45 days into using Mortgage Coach. And a couple thoughts. This was actually an email that he got from one of his clients. It was a realtor, after forwarding it, where the realtor said, I just want to say I'm super impressed by your materials, incredible stuff here. You'll notice the way he positioned Mortgage Coach is he positioned it as a digital mortgage analysis. So when he delivered the Mortgage Coach link, it was positioned as a digital mortgage analysis. Now, in this interview, which I highly recommend everybody checks out, we'll put a link in this call to do it. It's only an 18-minute interview. There were really 4 big ideas. Idea number 1 was to loop in your agent. He calls it's our total cost analysis. He calls it a digital mortgage analysis. Looping in the realtor is a complete wow to the agent. Helps them stay informed. They know what you said to the buyer, how you said it to the buyer. Big idea number 2 was that he's sending that digital mortgage analysis to all of his pre-approval funnels. And when you listen to this interview, John talks about how his pre-approval funnel is more bloated and bigger than ever. And it's also more challenging him forever because some of his buyers are getting fatigued. They're going through buyer fatigue because their offers aren't getting accepted. And so he talks about how he uses this digital mortgage analysis to not only stay top of mind, to keep him in the market. And then he even mentions, here's a guy doing $100 million a year in business, and he's talking about how call reluctancy is something he still deals with. But when he can just call the buyer and say, hey, would you like me to update your digital mortgage analysis, update rates, update purchase prices, down payments, it makes it easier for him. So that was a big idea. Big idea number 3, which was using, he calls it digital market presentation, which, by the way, is what Tina just showed you. This is just how he brands it. He calls it a digital market presentation, how it's helping him get more leads with realtors. And then his 4th big idea, and I'm going to close on this big idea, which is he's doing annual reviews. Although when he's doing his annual reviews, he's not only doing it to get, to service the past customers, to get refi business, but to get referrals to bring back to his real estate agents. So I am going to also cover on an idea that Rick Shear does that. But I just want to make sure everybody is connecting the dot on what Mortgage Coach is. This is what Mortgage Coach is. In John's case, it actually helps him save 15 minutes on every borrower conversation. So it's netting out monthly payments in a graphical format. By the way, this is a rent versus own. It's showing the difference over time. And if you want to help folks understand how to build wealth with real estate and get into the market, showing them the monthly benefits with graphs and charts, showing them the benefit and the difference over time is critical. Again, in Mortgage Coach land, we believe in 3 time frames: monthly, long-term view, and a midterm view. In this particular case, it was 60 months. And again, what you just saw was mobile. This is what it would look like on a desktop. So if the family clicked on the Mortgage Coach report, in this case, a rent versus own from a laptop, that's what it would look like. So let's close on this, on how Rick Shear, another $100 million producer, is actually getting 26 to 32% of his past clients to actually self-schedule for an annual review meeting. So I interviewed Rick. It was a full 1-hour interview, but we edited the 15 minutes of the conversation. Again, that is in my LinkedIn article. So 15 minutes of the conversation. In that, it includes the email that he's actually sending out to his client. This is the client conversation. You'll notice that he has a click here button where he uses schedule once. A lot of Mortgage Coach members use Calendly. And then he talks about between the email and the follow-up phone calls between him and his assistant, how he is scheduling these annual reviews, how he is using a total cost analysis. Again, every single one of his annual reviews take about 15 minutes, included the scripts on that. And within 15 minutes, he has delivered value and he's got a lead. So by the way, those of you that asked how to sign up for Mortgage Coach, there's a lot of different buttons to do that. But if you look at the bottom of any of our articles, there'll be an opportunity to either sign up now. It's $90 a month. If your company does not provide Mortgage Coach for you, no commitment. You can just click the button, go in and sign up. Or you can schedule a group demo or a live demo of Mortgage Coach. Our commitment to you is if you're closing less than 50 loans a month, we'll help you close at least 1 extra loan per month. And if you're closing more than 100 loans, we'll help you close 2 extra loans. And so think about it. If you're a realtor or if you're a buyer, would you want your loan officer to provide this, a fee worksheet, or this? And by the way, if you are a family looking to get into mortgage debt, would you prefer this or would you prefer this? And if you're a realtor, what do you think is going to create more clarity and urgency for the family? A mobile experience. So again, all you need to do, we have an article on it. It says, learn how to start using Mortgage Coach. Click the button to get started now, or sign up for the interactive overview of Mortgage Coach. And it will help you close more loans in less time and help you get more referrals from past clients. Also, just a reminder, we do have the YouTube channel that I mentioned to you. If you were going to watch 1 or 2 videos, definitely watch the Jeremy Forcier Realtor Questions video and watch the Mortgage Coach scripts. If you were just going to watch 2 of our calls. But again, if you go to any of our articles, go to our YouTube channel, not only do we have great interviews, every Tuesday interview that I do is posted within hours of the actual interview. We've got a lot of real world scripts. Check out our best overall interviews. And I think I mentioned it earlier, every single Friday we're doing a mastermind, which is just focused on how to make more money in less time at Mortgage Coach. So we do hope you join our community and add to your production. Let's see, what other questions do we have, Tina?
Dave, I think I've answered most of those questions. Yeah, I'm here. I think I've answered most of those questions by typing back to them. But we do want you to know, as a mortgage coach professional, that you are always not alone. We are constantly teaching, and people rave about our YouTube site. It is one of the most educational sites out there. As well as we want to make sure that you are successful as a lender. And Melinda, I am totally with you that women are just successful, and we do have some really strong women that do come in and do videos with us. Dave, do you want to talk about a little bit about the women?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Melinda. I'm with you. We do need more women leaders in our community. Stepping up on stage. I actually have a playlist. If you go to our playlist, it's called MC Women in Leadership. And so the interviews that I've done with women mortgage coaches are in here. I'm kind of scanning through it to see if I see it. But I am with you. We want to have more women doing that. In fact, we recently sponsored, by the way, are you seeing that playlist? Because I want to showcase some of those. Make sure if I pass it, you stop me. Actually, better way to do it, just use the Google search. Boom, MC Women in Leadership. So we actually have a playlist with a lot of great mortgage coach leaders who are women that have talked about different strategies, anything from top producer interviews, how to get more millennial business, Facebook marketing. Actually, Tina Bellevue out of Baltimore is just killing it. She's just a tremendous success story as an agent with Keller Williams that is using Facebook as her marketing. Check that out. But thank you for the push and for mentioning that, Melinda.
The other thing we should mention also is
wait. You said women are also just as successful. Absolutely. In fact, I could name a lot of some of the biggest and most successful companies where women are the top producer in the company. So, amen to that. That's a fact. Go ahead.
I also wanted to mention that maybe we should mention our new loan officer playlist. That we understand here at Mortgage Coach, we are all about education, not only educating your clients, but educating your loan officers. We've created another playlist that is all about that new loan officer. So if you have any new loan officers in your company that you want to help get them up and running, this is a list, and it's not Mortgage Coach based. It is actually based on what is going to work in the industry. What are some of the things out there that we have gone through and learned from top producing loan officers in order to make sure that you can get up and running and understand the industry? Because attrition used to be only 10% of the loan officers stayed in the industry. So we want to stop that.
Yeah, so a couple things I want to shine a light on with that being the topic. So this is our new loan officer playlist, and it starts off with an interview of me interviewing Simon Sinek, who's been an important mentor to my life. And it just starts about, what is your why? And again, this was Simon being interviewed for mortgage professionals and realtors. And he actually even shares a mortgage experience he had with a big bank. And he shares why he wouldn't work with that loan officer again. And it's pretty powerful. So I think this new loan officer playlist is good for any mortgage professional. It's got everything from tactics and scripts to really high level, what is your mortgage why? So do check that out. It's got 10 videos. But I would just say, whether you're a new loan officer, if you have not heard these interviews, they are some of our absolute best. And then I did want to let everybody know, tomorrow I'm actually interviewing Casey Cunningham, and we're going to be talking about the fastest path for new loan officers. But I actually, when I posted this on Facebook today, I thought to myself, and I think, not only is this call going to be great for new loan officers, it's going to be anybody who's closing less than 50 loans a year, less than 50 loans a year, because to me, that is a number that just represents a sustainable, successful career in this business. If you get north of that, that's where you really start creating wealth for yourself as a mortgage professional, where you have a sustainable profession that you're delivering. I think that's where you really get good at this business. If you do less than 50, it's hard to be a master mortgage professional. So we're gonna frame that call tomorrow with Casey around, whether you're new in the business, how to get 50 annually rapidly, and if you're not there, how to get over that hump and get past that. So really appreciate all of the value. I do want to push one more poll question, because I'm just curious to know how many past clients do you have in your database? I just want to get a feel for this audience. How many of you have less than 100? How many of you have more than 1,000? How many of you are in between? And again, I'd love to get to 70% of you voting. It does look like we have a great representation of mortgage professionals that have helped over 1,000 families. Congratulations. And it looks like we've got a great representation of folks that have closed less than 100 and 100 to 300. So it does look like we've got quite a mix of where you're at. I guess the last point I'd make on that, as we got 4 minutes till we wrap this up, is that especially for you that have over 1,000, you really should, if you have over 1,000 loans, you've got at least 120 people in your past customer database that are doing a loan every year. There's going to be 6 to 8% that are buying a new home, even when rates are high and they're not doing rate and term refis. People are doing refis because of life. So there's at least 100 loans happening in your database, and I would urge you to start measuring your past customer pull-through rate every single month. So if you did, I don't know, whatever the number is, if you put it this way, if you have less than a 1% annual or monthly past customer pull-through rate, you have an opportunity to do better, because there's a lot more loans happening in your past customer database than you realize. So seeing so many people with 1,000, and obviously if you don't have over 100 past customers, it's not as big of opportunity. But for pretty much everybody on this call that has over 100 past customers, you've got more loans happening in your past customer database than you realize. So to me, a sustainable mortgage practice is one where you're doing annual reviews. Every month you're emailing your past customers, you're making them aware of your annual review process. You're giving them the ability to schedule an appointment with you for 15 minutes and reviewing it. I've got a great script here from Rick Shear, and it's just a tremendous opportunity to not only serve that family, with a sustainable mortgage that achieves their long-term and short-term goals, but to give referrals to not just your realtors, to CPAs, to financial planners. If you listen to this call with Rick, I can't remember the exact stats, but it's like 1 out of every 3 calls, he's either walking away from loans or referrals. It's massive value for a 15-minute phone call with a client for life. Super valuable strategy. So with that said, unless we have more questions, I hope this was a valuable hour of your time. Looks like we're getting some great feedback. Thank you for taking time. And for those of you that are not Mortgage Coach members, hopefully you will sign up and become a Mortgage Coach member today. I've told you where to do that, and just click the button, sign up now, or get a demo to get your questions answered. Have a fantastic day, everybody. And AREAA, thank you for the opportunity to tell our story. And again, for everybody who is part of AREAA, do not forget to save the date for your most recent event, April 7th and 9th, and get it on the calendar, at least put it on the calendar for October 18th and 20th. Take care, everybody. This call is a wrap.